afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
And thank you for coming to Northland's primary to celebrate one of our local sporting heroes. Let me say this. I would like to recognize, and I'm sure all the little ones know, Bermuda's premier, the Honorable E. David Burt. Also in attendance with us today is the Deputy Premier, Minister Ruban, MP Neville Tyrrell, who is our honorees representative, and also the government whip, Lawrence Scott, former Premier, Mr. Alex Scott, the Honorable Alex Scott, and former MP, Mr. Dale Butler, and if I've left any...
Former Speaker of the House.
Yes, how could I forget the former Speaker of the House, Mr. Randolph Horton?
Because he don't like you from Somerset, that's why.
And any other dignitaries here today amidst the very special Symonds family. Thank you. Thank you for coming out to help us support this local hero. Let me start by saying also Happy New Year to everybody here. And with this celebration today and the commemoration of the great Calvin Bummy Symonds, what better way to start a year but by doing something like this? I can say that I'm very pleased because I am here standing as the Minister of Sports and also as the Minister for Culture. And this event that we're holding today recognizes both our culture and our sporting hero, Mr. Cal Bummy Symonds. Indeed, he is a sporting legend. Some of you may be wondering why we're doing this here today. And we're doing it here at Northlands because if you didn't know, now you will know. And this will be real important to our Northlands students. Mr. Cal Bummy Symonds started his education here at Northlands. And he attests to the fact that it was a critical part of his nurturing, and it helped him as a school to hone his sporting skills. Mr. Cal Bummy Symonds had several sporting disciplines, but it is his cricket that has at least captured my heart, but it has captured the hearts and minds of all Bermuda. During his early years, he played for such local clubs as Western Stars, St. George's Cricket Club, Pond Hill Stars, and PHC. Why he is so special to me is because he is a St. George's cot match legend. Yes.
It's a new year, too early for all that.
Mr. Cal Bummy Symonds also had great success as a footballer. In fact, in the early 1950s, Cal Symonds played professional football overseas for the Rockdale CC in the Central Lancashire League. And I believe he spent at least 2 years there. And when he came back to Bermuda, he wowed his fellow footballers and Bermudians in general with his football skills. But let me, for emphasis, say this. I know that he is most remembered as being a prolific batsman and, like I said, for the best cot match team, the St. George's cot match team, sorry. Woohoo! His cup match career indeed spanned from 1950 to 1969. During his time as captain, which was from 1961 to 1969, he guided St. George's to 8 championships under his leadership. He also represented the Bermuda national team in unofficial matches between 1952 and 1965. During the 1990s, Calvin gave back to his country by coaching the Bermuda team. So today, we gather here to express our thanks and appreciation for the legacy and contributions of Mr. Calvin Bummy Symonds. Calvin, there is a quote from the great Brazilian footballer Pelé that stuck with me. Pelé said, "Success is no accident," and I hope the children are listening to this. Success is no accident. It's hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing or learning to do. This embodies you, Mr. Calvin Bummy Symonds. We thank you for your dedication to sports in Bermuda and beyond. We thank you for imparting your knowledge of cricket and football to those who came behind you. And most of all, we thank you for being the quintessential cricket ambassador for Bermuda. You are a Bermudian sports hero. And I just want to go off script for 1 second. What also makes this so special, every Northland student who walks through here will be able to look at something and see a name and know that that's somebody who came to your great school and that you can aspire to be like him and better, whether it be sports or anything else that you do. And you will be able, anybody will be able to come up to you and say, "Who is Mr. Cal Bummy Symonds?" And you will be able to say, "He went to Northlands and he was a great sporting hero for Bermuda, and he helped a lot of people in their sports and other areas of their life to become the best." That's what you guys will be able to say to anybody. And you will get to see him firsthand. But I want to say that the Premier is standing here beside me because this area that we stand in is his area. And if he wants to add a word or two to this, for this great hero, he may. I don't know if he would want to because you play for St. George's. He supports Somerset. It's up to you.
Thank you, Minister. What I would say is that it's too early in the new year for division. Let us be unified today as we recognize a Bermudian cultural icon, but also a Bermudian sporting icon. And one of the things that is particularly important on this day is that we have so many students out today. The sun is out shining. There are Bermudian sporting legends that are here in support of a Bermudian sporting legend. The fact is that it is important to make sure to recognize our culture, to recognize our history, and to make sure that persons that have contributed to society, to our social fabric, to our history, are remembered. Mr. Calvin Bummy Symonds is a legend. And for anyone to captain a cup match team and go undefeated over that period of points in time just speaks to the legacy of your time. The only thing that I can say is, of course, is that this is just a token of the recognition of which the government of Bermuda and the people hold you in high esteem. but I want to say that I am particularly proud to be here today as the leader of the government as we unveil this plaque and the naming of this area in your honor. So, sir, I want to say to you congratulations, and I also want to say that it is a pleasure and honor knowing you and your family. Thank you.
So please do come up.
Now it's your turn to speak, sir.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I'm not shy no more. Never was shy. But I can't see the ball like I used to. But I can see certain people. My brain is not ball. To Mr. Premier, the Honorable David Burt, JP MP. To Mr. Honorable Walter Ruben, JP MP. And to my lovely sports minister,
There you go.
do not, you called me yesterday and gave me a big surprise.
Yes, that was the whole intent.
All right then. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Years ago, that I can remember coming to Northlands. My mother brought me to this school. We was down there living in St. John's Road, not too far from here. And I can remember, I was 6 years old. That's the time in those days that kids was allowed to go to school. Not like it used to be today, preschool, and then you go to the elementary school. But I don't worry about those hard times. But when she brought me to this school, I had my cricket bat with me. And when she arrived at the school, my principal was Esme Henson. And she asked me, why you got this piece of wood? I said, it's not a piece of wood, it's a cricket bat, which my uncle B. De Silva made for me. And she said, well, you can't take that in your class, but I have to take it from you. I was a little upset, but my mother said, give it to her. But otherwise than that, this area, what you sitting there, was my playing area. And success came with football and cricket. Education was like a second fiddle to me, but I just got involved in sport. But I really want to say that you kids in Northlands today, you do the best in your sporting endeavors, but your education comes first. It's more today than during your education. You become lawyers, judges, accountants, anything you can do. Be the best of what you can do. But I was very proud of coming to Northlands. I had 8 years at there. I left Northlands when I was 14. And it's time to go to a higher education, but I was just involved in sport. And I decided that I'm going out to work. Working, I always had a working appetite, but my cricket and soccer came to very, very good to me. It taken me a few places around the world. And there's quite a few people that I would like to congratulate that helped me along the line, especially my wonderful 6 beautiful women teachers I had here. But I'm going to see if I can name them all. My principal is Ismay Henson. The deputy principal was Robertson, Adessa Robertson, that's her name. And one of my favorite teachers was that she told me before, Calvin, sporting is not everything, but your grades are done. I have to bring them up. There was Leonie Jackson Blyton. Then came Thara Baskin, tough music teacher. And Muriel Scott Rowland. She was like a giant. And Ruth Swan Ritter. And the only gentleman that we had to come to give us that was I respected is George Butterfield. He was working both ways from Berkeley to Norfolk. And he helped us in our cricket endeavors. So Mr. George Butterfield decided that he migrated to the United States. But I would always remember that some of my school buddies, they're not here today. Cal and Lloyd Bed, George Dyer, Ross Wilson, and many others. My brother-in-law, Ernest Tommy Tucker, Charles Niren, and Eugene Pitt. Those 3 came from St. George's, busting up how they got to, they lived in St. George's and they came to Norfolk. And those 3 was great cricketers. But I respected them, and I decided that I had to mention their names because they helped me to bring me along. But otherwise than that, I appreciate the government of Bermuda that they honor me here today. And I always say, Mr. Premier, thank you very much. And Lavita, thank you.
Mwah. See, I got a kiss. I got a kiss.
Thank you very much.
You stay here.
Yeah.
And yes, sure.
Good afternoon, all. Welcome to Northlands. First of all, I say hi to all my family, my friends, and my cousin Irvin Romaine. How you doing, buddy? And to the Honorable David Brett, JPMP, Honorable Walter Rabin, Deputy Premier, JPMP, and to the Minister of Sports and Cultural Affairs, my lovely friend Lavita Fogo. And this is from former Premier Dr. Ure Brown. It says to Cal Bummy, Calvin Bummy Symonds represented the best that Bermuda had to offer. Although he fought hard to accomplish victory, his conduct on and off the field of play was an example that I wish today's athletes could see and emulate. Congrats, Bummy. You have been and always will be a hero of mine. Dr. Ure Brown, thank you.
Thank you. I'd like the rest of the family to come up. You, wife, please. Not to speak, but for the unveiling. And where's his daughter?
There. Deputy.
Yeah.
Deputy.
Okay. So first up, we are going to unveil the sign that's up on the wall. But we would also like Mr. Symonds to take her with him I guess, if you will, a keepsake. And it's just his name, and he'll be able to put it up in his house, on a wall, anywhere. And compliments from the government of Bermuda. Yes. So this is for you. How about I get your son to who?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. Can
okay.
your family come?
All right.
And I will go back here and just say, and what we're going to do now is have Mr. Symonds, the Premier, the Deputy Premier, up there. I will cut the strings, and we want you all to be standing so you can turn around and look at the sign. Yeah.
Let me hold it for him, or?
Yes, we can keep that. Great.
Goes right there.
Yes. And I have specific instructions.
Not yet. You know Jameer wants to film.
Yes. So, watch. Watch the magic.
Happy New Year.
Watch the magic, guys. If I can get the scissors.
All right.
This sign is also, will also be on the fence for those who are driving by. And this whole area over here is the Bummy Symonds Courtyard. Okay? What better way to preserve history than doing this?
Oh, I'm sure the press wants.
Jameer, turn
Yes.
around, Jameer. Turn around.
Always taking pictures.